So it is not just flaming lefties who are out there saying that Trump is waging a nuclear war on free speech. It's also people who were allies of his. Not only allies, close allies. In fact, lawyers for Donald Trump. So here we have a great example that we have an ex-White House lawyer. His name is actually Ty Cobb, not the baseball player, but the lawyer, Ty Cobb. And he's got his cool little Colonel Sanders looking ass mustache here. And listen to what he says about what Trump just did vis-a-vis ABC and Jimmy Kimmel. This is crazy coming from a former Trump lawyer.
As someone who is steeped in the law, get your reaction to hearing that ABC had indefinitely suspended Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, I think, Kristen, that it's evocative of what we've seen throughout history. I mean, in 1939, Dr. Goebbels, at Hitler's instruction, removed 5 comedians, or witticisms, as they were called at the time, from the airways in Germany, and for criticizing or making fun of the government in a satire way. Putin, when he took over in the early 2000s, one of the first things he did was systematically silence critical media outlets, and independent TV channels were bought out or shut down. Trump is waging war on people who offend him. He's all about vengeance. And sadly, his subordinates, like one of the Project 2025 authors, Brandon Carr of the FCC, are following in line. And, perhaps the Presidential Crimes Commission that Representative Swalwell called for recently can consider this at the end of this administration. But these people are, abandoning our constitutional rights and our constitutional freedoms. Even Senator Loomis today, by saying, she doesn't feel like enforcing the First Amendment at this point, despite having, liked it when it suited her. That's a violation of her oath of office, where she takes an oath to preserve and protect the Constitution. So I think this is really tragic. And I think, as Carr said yesterday, there will be more shoes to drop. I think we can count on that. This will be 3.5 more years of vengeance.
The most disturbing part of all of this to me is that Brendan Carr, before he got picked to be the head of the FCC, his whole thing, according to him, was free speech. There's like dozens of tweets of his from before he became the head of the FCC where he's talking about the necessity and the importance of free speech and how it's the only thing that matters. It's the most important thing that you can ever think of. And then literally flips like it's nothing. As soon as the word comes down from Trump, hey, we don't like these late night comedians making fun of us. You got to do something to try to stop it. He goes on Benny Johnson's shitty show and, says, issues a mafia threat and says we could do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way. And here we are. And so he went from one of the biggest cheerleaders of free speech you could ever find to now like literally ushering in the demise of the Constitution, the First Amendment, and freedom of speech. I mean, this is insanity. And here you have a former White House lawyer saying, no, this is exactly what you think it is. And he literally brings up Nazi Germany. And he brings up there were comedians who were fired in Nazi Germany. I didn't know that they were called witticisms at the time. But he says they were fired for making fun of the government. And he says he sees clear parallels from that to this, clear parallels with Putin's Russia. And look, I've been at war against this idea that like, oh, it could never happen here. Not us, not our country, not to me. This is how people think. Like, oh no, couldn't happen here. Motherfucker, it already is. It's not even like, oh, it might. Oh, we're on the brink. No, it already, 78 things that couldn't happen here already happened here. Wakey. Like, it's time to get up, bro. It's time up and at 'em in this bitch. Like, we are up shit's creek without a paddle. And it's time everybody understood that, and everybody knew that, and everybody acted accordingly. Because that's where we are. So this is just one example. I got another one for you here. So Trump comes out, and this is now a line he's repeated multiple times, right? He's going to say, well, is it really free speech if they say this? So listen.
George Sloppodopoulos had to pay $16 million to me because of what he said. And that's ABC.
No, he didn't. They settled out of court. And this was the other problem with all these media companies settling out of court and just giving him a payment to get them off their ass. They would have won the cases if they fought them. They thought, we'll pay him a little bit and then he'll shut the fuck up and leave us alone. Wrong. You give the fascists an inch, they want to take a mile. So now he's bragging about the money, pretending like he won the cases. He didn't win. They settled out of court because they cared more about the business that they had that was in front of the government. They wanted their mergers approved and things of that nature.
I think it's very sad, but I think that reporting has to be at least accurate to an extent.
Reporting has to be at least accurate. So are you calling for Fox News to get pulled off the air because they had to pay $787 million because they lied repeatedly about the 2020 election? As you did too, by the way. But should they be pulled off the air because of that? Oh, it has to be accurate.
When somebody is given 97% of the stories are bad about a person, that's no longer free speech. That's no longer, that's just cheating. And they cheat. And they become really members of the Democrat National Committee.
Okay, a couple things to say about this. First of all, when it's 97% bad about a person, that's no longer free speech. Yes, the fuck it is. In fact, as you can see here, somebody put a community note. The First Amendment guarantees the right to free speech and of the press specifically, without placing any limit on how much of it can be bad about a person. That's point number one. Point number two is, hey, Don, I don't know if you know this, you are 100% negative against Democrats. You call them fascists, you call them communists, you call them vermin. You say immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. When it comes to, you want to talk about 100% negative talk. That's you. When it comes to immigrants, when it comes to trans people, when it comes to liberals, when it comes to Democrats, when it comes to leftists. Nobody has ever been more negative than you are on your opponents. You never say a fucking kind word about fucking, you said Joe Biden, when you were asked about him being diagnosed with cancer, you said, I don't feel bad for him. He's a bad guy. I don't feel bad for him. And you have the nerve to say, it's not free speech if it's 97% negative. Well, if it's not free speech if it's 97% negative, then motherfucker, you would be the first in line to get locked up. They would throw your ass under the jail. Oh my God, what a fucking loser. What a shameless piece of shit this guy is. Jesus Christ. It's not free speech if it's 97% negative. It absolutely the fuck is. It absolutely is. So you're mandating what? We have to give 50-50 coverage to fucking like anything and everything? You know, if I'm talking about Adolf Hitler, I gotta say, well, he did like dogs. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Oh my God. Trump comes out. I made this point the other day too. Trump comes out. He will say the most absurd shit. Like, I saw a tweet that said, Trump officially calls for Ilhan Omar to step down or something like that. And it's like, you do realize that's not a thing, right? There's no mechanism by which the president can have a congressperson removed. But they say it, they use the word official, and so they think like, oh, it stands because I use the word official. It's like, it doesn't matter that you use the word official. That's like me saying, okay, I officially ask you to shut the fuck up, resign, and blow a goat. Does that mean anything? Who the fuck am I? I'm just saying, here's what I want you to do. But they use the word official, and a bunch of idiots in the media run with it as if, like, it means anything, right? As if there's some mechanism that Trump can get a congressperson removed. I just hate it. Just like, if it's 97% negative, it's not free speech. Yes, it fucking is. You just made that up. Oh, my God. All right. So the Washington Post said the following. Ready for this? The Trump administration unveiled a new crackdown Friday on journalists at the Pentagon, saying it will require them to pledge they won't gather any information, even unclassified, that hasn't been expressly authorized for release, and will revoke the press credentials of those who do not obey. Under the policy, the Pentagon may revoke press passes for anyone it deems a security threat possessing confidential or unauthorized information. Under the new rules, would be ground for a journalist's press pass to be revoked. The Department of War, Jesus Christ, remains committed to transparency to promote accountability and public trust, the document says, using an acronym for the newly rebranded Department of War. However, the Department of War information must be approved for public release by an appropriate authorizing official before it is released, even if it's unclassified. In other words, let me rephrase this for you. What they're saying is, now we have a ministry of truth. Now we have a ministry of truth. Anything you say about us, it needs to be approved by us. Well, shocker, they're going to want every single thing to be fucking positive, and every single thing to be rainbows and puppies and holding hands and singing Kumbaya and talking about how great we are and talking about how special we are. And mommy says my bottom is special. It's like, this is what they're doing. Guys, I think it's an understatement to call this a war on free speech. This goes beyond just a war. This is like a thermonuclear war that's the likes of which that will just render the Constitution completely and utterly null and void from now until the end of time. They are shredding the Constitution. They are lighting it on fire. They are dipping it in battery acid. It's over. It's over with these changes. And by the way, the media too, do not talk about this in the way they want you to talk about it. You need to say, they are declaring nuclear war on the Constitution and free speech. This is wildly illegal. You don't even need a court to tell you that this is illegal. This is the most illegal shit I've ever seen. So all of you better keep doing your job the right way. And if you don't, fucking shame on you. Just like when they decided, it's the Gulf of America now. And all these fucking little bitches decided, we're going to type that up. No, go with Gulf of Mexico because that's what it's actually called. Don't just fucking bend the knee to all of their temper tantrums and their whims. This is the point. Never give the fascists an inch, they will take a mile. So just fucking man up in this moment, because this is comically illegal and unconstitutional. All right, so there was a protest in Chicago at an ICE facility, and Kat Abu Ghazaleh, who we've had on Crystal Kyle and Friends before, she's of course running for Congress, and she was at the protest, and she got fucking assaulted by an ICE agent. By an ICE Gestapo thug. Watch this. Look at this. These people know there's no consequences for them. These people know they've been given the ultimate green light. That's why they're covering their faces with masks. That's why there's a lot of deputized Proud Boys and white nationalists that are now part of ICE. You see fucking Nazi tattoos are showing from time to time with these people. One of them was rounding somebody up illegally in DC, and they said liberals have destroyed this country. This is who this is. This isn't a professional force doing a professional job in a political job. No, these are ICE Gestapo thugs doing ICE Gestapo things. Don't care about due process, don't care about habeas corpus, don't care about rights, will assault whoever the fuck they want. Here, I got another video of this for you.
What are you doing is right! Fuck you! What are you doing is right! Fuck you! What the fuck is wrong with you, fucking idiot? What the fuck is...
Let's be clear, the people who sign up to be ICE Gestapo thugs like this, they're looking for violence. They're looking for trouble. They're looking to assault people and get away with it. That's what this is.
You're not an American. You're a fucking traitor. Traitor. You're a fucking traitor.
Correct. Absolutely correct. They're walking out all fucking decked out in military gear. This is crazy. This was just a fucking protest at one of their facilities. Perfectly legal. Shout out to Ford Fisher who recorded this, by the way. Everybody go give Ford Fisher a follow. In fact, I'll do that right now. All right, let's keep going.
You're a fucking traitor. You're a fucking traitor.
Look at this. Just assaulting.
Get him under control. Get these pieces of shit under control. Yeah, point your finger, you piece of shit.
Shame on you, bitches! Shame on you, bitches! Shame on you!
So there you go. This is what's happening in this country now. I mean, we are a hyper-militarized hellscape that's gone full fascist. That's what it is. And if the multiple new wars don't convince you of that, if the concentration camps don't convince you of that, of the hyper-aggressive domestic police, if they don't convince you of that, maybe the absolute destruction of the First Amendment will convince you of that. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.